Hey everyone, good to see you. It's Richard at BTFI. Hope you're having a great Monday so far. Who knows what happens from here on. Up to now, I hope you've had a great day. And a great weekend. Is Monday. How does Monday always come around so quickly? Ours was full of. We had a bit of we had a fairly chill day yesterday, which was Sunday, and Saturday less so. Saturday we had a photo shoot for our new website with the wonderful Amanda Clark. If you don't know Amanda Clark and you want photos done, you need to go and check her out. So she's brilliant, and so we had a whole day. For those of you that are interested, I had Rick Astley hair for the photo shoot. For those of you who don't know who Rick Astley is, it's a good thing, believe me. You haven't missed much, but for the person that last week said that I had Rick Astley hair, you know who you are. Hopefully they're not on. So, hey everyone, hi Bethan, hi Sandra, hi Kelly, hi Zoe, good to see you all. So tonight, living and leading on purpose is what we're talking about. It's come up quite a lot in the BTFI group recently. Hey Lewis. It's come up a lot in the BTFI group recently with people talking about people doing that, changing jobs. Quite a lot of people moving from a corporate world into their own entrepreneurial world. People that are just going, kind of like new life phase stuff. Kids going off to university or kids going to school. Just those kind of changing phases and going, what's it all about? Am I kicking up enough of a stink and making enough of a fuss and doing the stuff I should be doing? So that's part of where it's come up, and also some of you will know that Kelly passed her animal healing exams. Whoop-de-doo, high five! Last week, and is heading off to Borneo to work with the sun bears and the orangutans in May. And for her, it's on her bucket list, and it's one of her things for her entire life that she's held on to and has wanted to do. So in terms of an example of someone following true purpose, actually there couldn't be a better example. So it's kind of all around me at the moment. So that's where our BTFI group conversations have been. If you're not in the BTFI group, head on over. We'll pop the link below. You can come and join us. We're a group of action takers, thought leaders, movers, shakers, provokers, prodders, rumpus makers, all kinds of folks that are making that shift from not just thinking and kind of massaging our egos about stuff, but actually taking action and doing things. So come and join us, head on over. We're a welcoming, lovely group. So another reason for this evening, having some jasmine tea, is for talking about purposes. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in Monte Carlo, speaking at a conference. So there were a few of us keynoting. The Right Honourable David Cameron was keynoting. Tina Brown was keynoting. Me, Richard Tyler, was keynoting. And the most significant speaker over the couple of days was Malala. I don't know if any of you know Malala's story. She's 19 now. She's the youngest Nobel Prize winner ever. And her story, I guess, became famous because she was living in Pakistan, shot by the Taliban one day and brought to Birmingham, where they kind of looked after her, got her health-wise back on her feet, and this is where she now lives. She's now at Oxford University. So it's I'm still kind of reeling, I have to say, from from being in awe, the surprise, of speaking alongside her, the energy that she exudes was breathtaking. And where it left me was, I think a lot of people kind of struggled to get the whole purpose thing about what the fuck is it? What's purpose? Live on purpose, lead on purpose. What does it actually mean? And there for me was an example of someone who completely captures this idea of how we live our life on purpose. There is someone that follows it. She has a purpose, she has a vision, she has a mission, she has a job to do on this planet, and she follows it religiously every single day. Every action she takes in some way plays into living that purpose. And actually her purpose in many ways, if you take it as a statement, is incredibly simple. It is to bring quality and safe education to the 130 million girls on this planet that do not have access to it. I mean, it's shocking in itself. 130 million girls on this planet that do not have access to quality and safe education. I mean, it's just what... Anyway, that's another Facebook Live, right? But this is her mission. At 19 years old, she carves out this path every single day and is having conversations with amazing people around the world and edging closer every day. She edges closer, and that purpose piece, you know, is right in her DNA. It's her heartbeat every day. And there it was from this person that is fearless, completely fearless. She is relentless in her pursuit of it, and at the same time extraordinarily humble and wise for someone of 19. You know, she's, I guess, gone through more in 19 years than most of us will experience and live through in our lifetime, of the high highs and the extraordinarily low, painful moments. She told a wonderful story about how the day she was shot, she was on a school bus with her friends, and the gunman came on. They shot her. The next thing she knows is waking up somewhere. She didn't know where she was, with people in white outfits around her, that she couldn't open her mouth, struggling to take in what was happening. She worked out that she was in a hospital and something had happened. And she talks about how she had two thoughts. Two questions were the only two questions. The first one was, where is my father? She has an incredible bond with her father. And the second question was, who is going to pay for this? Who's going to pay for this place I'm in, this care I'm receiving? So quite just an amazing human being. Grab her book, I Am Malala, watch the film. If you want a greater insight into what purpose really is. So I'd love to hear from you. If you believe you are absolutely clear on what your purpose is and why you are here doing what you're doing every day, type yes in the comments. I'd love to know. And I'm pretty sure on this planet there are more people that don't have the faintest idea than those who do. So it's okay to go, I don't know, or I'm not able to voice it yet. And if you've got any questions as we go, pop them in, and I'll endeavour to answer them as we go through, and I can always pick them up afterwards as well. So what does on purpose mean? I talk about on purpose, and I put capital O, capital N for a reason in on. On purpose is two things. The first piece of on purpose is about, are we living life in alignment with what we are here for, in alignment with our value set. This is about going true north. This is about in that direction where we carve out our path with the thing that we are here to do, and that is normally about the intention to do something meaningful. To do something meaningful on this planet. This is not, if your outcome is to make a load of money and buy a big house, that's not a purpose piece. They're goals, they're outcomes, they're things we want. Purpose is about how are we leaving this planet in a better, different place. What's that impact? Remember Malala's statement about her purpose. So that's the first piece of being on purpose. The second piece of being on purpose is really important in there for me, around that we live life deliberately. So when we say to someone, you know, you did that on purpose, it's like this idea of it was deliberate. And that's really important in this, which is about that you are living life consciously, choosing, deciding, and being deliberate about your actions, being deliberate about your thoughts, being deliberate about the choices that you make. Because actually all of those choices are lining up to, hit right at the heart of your purpose about what you're here for. And I've become really clear in the last few weeks that, and someone asked me this in a workshop last week, about how do you differentiate those that are the real extraordinary players on this planet and those that are playing good enough. And there is one distinction which is clear, which is those that are playing in the extraordinary space are deliberately choosing their thoughts and their actions every single day. That's the biggest difference, that they are going through their day consciously choosing. They're thinking which immediately influences and shifts our feeling and our actions. That's a big part about the on purpose. So just let that sit for a moment about on purpose, what that means. This is in our thinking from the moment we wake to the moment we go to sleep. It's when we wake up in the morning, consciously, unconsciously, what our day holds in store for us, what we're there to achieve that day, and how it plows straight into the very heart of what we're here for. So do you wake up with that in the morning? Or are you just doing shit? You're doing stuff because it's a job, because it pays the mortgage. No judgment in that, because that's for many people that is life. That is what they know. It's habit. It's comfortable. It's known, right? It's known. It's predictable, and we're looking for predictability often in life. And I think for those that follow their purpose, they tend to notice the less predictable stuff. That it isn't always like that. The path doesn't always map out. But providing we have that due north, the destination, then we continue striving for it. So there's a load of research out there about purpose and the benefits of living life on purpose. University of Pennsylvania, there's quite a big report done from there. I think 2014 it was. It's available online if you want to track it down. But in there, they go into real depths around, so actually, what are the proven benefits for people that are living life with that purpose piece in place, about increased happiness, about building self-esteem, about longevity of life, reducing illness, reducing depression, better sleep, more energy. The list is ongoing, every piece of research cited in there. So actually there are very immediate benefits, let alone the bigger piece that we tap into when we start to play out the purpose piece, when we start to play in that arena. You know, the effects are massive. And I think, you know, I told my story about, you know, my life as a musician and why I left that to pursue something different. I think it was, in hindsight, because I didn't know at the moment, it was definitely about something not being aligned. You know, when you go that head scratch, you go, it isn't just quite right. I'm doing something here that I really loved, but it didn't feel quite right. And I think even in the last 10 years or so, there have been moments where I've gone, I don't know that this thing kind of feels really right. There's just something that's a bit, yeah, it's almost there. And I actually think it's only been in the last few months that the real purpose piece for me has become much clearer, and actually plays a very big part in me making decisions in my day about where I spend energy, and the clients that I will and won't work with, and types of work that I will do and won't do. And that doesn't always mean I'm in a position to go, yeah, I can just turn work away, and because I'm not at all. And what it does force me to do is to just really consider what I take on and what I accept and what I push away has to play into that bigger purpose piece. I notice it more and more. That's the thing, I think. I spot it, and when I take stuff on that isn't fully aligned, I can still rock up and be good, sometimes really good, but it just doesn't sit square for me. And then I know the pieces that I do that are totally on purpose, and I'm like, it's my sweet spot, right? And we have to hunt out the sweet spot piece. So there is also a lot of thinking around those people that are more likely to want to dig deep into what their purpose is are those that embrace possibility and options, and almost more, I think of it as kind of towards thinking. So those people in life that go towards their outcomes, towards their goals, creating more of what they want in life, are going to be those characters that are more likely to lean into doing some work around purpose and ensuring that they're playing fully into that. Those people in life that tend to avoid that and are spending more of their energy getting away from their problems and getting rid of the stuff that's an irritant or crap in their life, and their energy goes into that, they are less likely to spend their time consciously working on purpose and figuring out that bit. Now, this is a real mirror up Facebook Live tonight, for those of you that hadn't quite clocked. So just working out which camp you think you spend more time in. Do you spend your time in the moving towards outcomes that you want? Not about this bit being broken, but about how do we build more of that, rather than spending time getting away from the things that you don't want, away from the things that are broken, away from the things that are difficult. And just where do you sit? Where do you sit, and how might that influence, if we go, the research says that's the truth, how that might influence your choice to go, actually, can I figure out what my purpose piece is? Because those that do the towards work, the towards motivation, are more likely to spend some time figuring it out. I think one of the other things is that I don't think when we find purpose, I don't think it's necessarily a lifetime piece. I don't think what we stumble over is then our purpose for life necessarily. I believe, this is what I believe, and there are some pools of research that would suggest this is the same, is that our purpose will shift with our life phases. So if you look at kids going through school to university, university into work, married life, having children, kind of 40, 45-year-old career choices about, is this the right place? To later in working life, knowing there's a winding down from working life, retirement, that purpose piece will shift about for us. And what we connect with initially might not always be the piece. So I think this is an ongoing check-in. And I think the more we get clear on purpose, the more we get clear on our purpose and that we're living it, the more we start to notice when something doesn't sit quite right. That's certainly true for me in the last few months. I've noticed more of that. Okay, so I love the quote by Nietzsche. I had to write it down because I'm really rubbish at remembering quotes, which is, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. So he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. So the how that we have to navigate each day, the stuff that appears on our radar, the brilliant stuff and the crappy stuff, actually we can navigate that if our why is strong enough, if we know our why. Do you know your why? Why do you do what you do? Why the hell are you on this planet? What are you here for? What's the bit that you're here to deliver? And I think that's, I guess one of the purpose pieces is that this is about something greater than ourselves. This is about giving, not getting. It's really important to remember that purpose is about the giving, not the getting. And if we think we have a purpose and it's about how much do I get, that's not about purpose. The universe steps in and disrupts that stuff at some point. This is about living a life in service of others. And again, all these factors play in. I'll give you some ideas for thinking about afterwards for how you go and plot out what you think your own purpose is, or what it needs to be, or giving it some more legs maybe than it has already. So why do we even get into this idea of going the purpose thing? How does that kind of find us in life that we even do this thinking? Of course, if you're watching this Facebook Live, then that's one reason. But otherwise, where else do we get to this point in our life where we start to assess and understand and want to unpick what that purpose is? And there are three broad groups, I think, that falls into. The first one is about a proactive search for more. So there are people in life that are going, I just want more. Not that this thing I've got is terrible. It's about how do I find more? How do I find the meaning in not just what this planet is, but the meaning in what I'm here for and what this is all about, and my life choices and my relationships, what they're for. So there are some people that are on that proactive search that go, I want to find it because it's a bit, and they go out and they hunt it down and they track it down and they find coaches and they join groups like BTFI group, or they'll work with mentors, or they'll find themselves in a different circle of people. So there's the proactive search. There's a reactive piece as well. There's a reactive development piece, which I know was very true for me when I lost my dad 6 years ago now. And that's often true for us, isn't it? If we lose someone that we love, or we lose a job, or there's a breakdown of a relationship, that there's that reactive piece that kind of sends us straight to, what the fuck? Why am I making these choices? Why do I get lost in the crappy stuff in life because actually it's not relevant, it's not important, it doesn't matter enough. I know I was very much like that when my father died. Suddenly became aware of the amount of energy and investment I gave to real shit stuff, irritating people, things that hadn't arrived on time, emails that weren't sent, people that said they were going to do something but they didn't do it, or it's just like, and you look at it and you go, really, is that as big as this stuff is? And for a lot of people, that sends them to that place of going, there has to be more. The realization that we so often fritter our life away because we're not living it on purpose. Back to the deliberate bit, that we're not living it deliberately again. We're just doing it because it's habit. We're doing it because of 10, 20, 30, 40 years that we've just done it and it's comfortable. And we as human beings, we hunt that stuff out, right? We hunt out the comfort and the ease and the safety and the predictability. And we look for that. So kind of shaking that up a bit and going, no, there's got to be something more, create some disruption in our life. And when in life something significant happens, we often go to that reactive place. And the other piece, I think, the other kind of broad category, I think, is about the social learning bit, which is that we know we want something else and we start to model what other people are doing in their life. So we go, so I'd like to be a really successful knitter. I want to be the best scarf knitter on the planet. Who else is doing it really well? And where are they doing it? And how are they doing it? And why the hell are they doing it? And why do they get out of bed in the morning and want to knit scarves? And then when we start to model and we start to look at who's doing it, and that's a part of the, how the Malala piece affected me around, wow, how's she doing it? Why is she doing this? What's that inner strength? She's so quiet. She's so small and fragile, but she's a complete powerhouse. So how can someone that small have so much power? So there's that modeling piece. So we've got the proactive, those that go, there's got to be something more, I'm just going to go hunting for it. There's the reactive piece because the world disrupts you and jolts you and forces you to look at your life choices and what you've created around you. And this thing you have built, it hasn't happened to you, the things you have built. And then there's the social learning piece where we start to look at those around us that are modeling the stuff that we want to do more of, and we go and unpick it. We go and ask them, how do you do that thing? Why do you do that thing? What do you do it for? Why do you make that choice? What does that plug into? What's the bigger piece? So have a think wherever you are in your purpose mission. Where do you fit within those three broader categories? What fired it off? And actually, which category do you think you need to be in order to get closer to understanding your life on purpose mission? Okay. I think, and you'll have heard me maybe talk about this before if you tuned into any of these, is I say a lot about when you're in the room, be in the room. And that was called out to me once. It was actually called out to me on stage where a director said, because I was having a chat with someone, I was on stage, it wasn't my scene, but I was on stage having a chat. And he shouted out over the Tannoy system, Richard Lake, that was my name, when you're on the stage, be on the stage. I was like, shit, yeah. I didn't quite get what it meant actually at the time. But from the conversation he had with me afterwards, I got what it meant. Which is wherever you are, be fully there. And I think we spend a whole load of time being on our stage, being in the room and not actually being in the room. Our bodies are there, but our minds and our spirit and our energy and our consciousness and our attention and our thinking is somewhere else altogether different. And actually, if you're on a mission of wanting to work out what your purpose is or spend more time living on purpose and making choices that do plug into your purpose, then you've got to be in the room. Because you know what? The moment you leave the room, it's game over. Game over immediately. Because the moment we leave, our heads leave, our energies leave, we lose all ability to choose based on what is happening around us. So one of your, even if when you kind of switch this thing off tonight, is just do a bit of a sense check, a bit of an inventory about how much time do you spend being fully in the room that you are in. That's about radar on, peripheral vision. When we bring in our jazz band and we do stuff within corporates, that's that whole message piece about jazz is this example of people that are present in the room, switched on, alert, 360 vision, picking up cues. We don't always do that in our life because we go, but we're not on show. But actually we are. So just check in with that piece as a purpose piece. So, okay, so here's the thing. This is where I'm going to send you off to do a bit of work. If you've got any questions, throw them in the comments for me. But I believe we find our purpose when three big pieces collide for us. When they collide, when they merge like this, we start to get clear on what the purpose is. And those three big pieces for me are values. So our values being our highest held criteria in life, the things that are most important to us. Okay, so our value set, which we rarely consciously go or navigate our day thinking about our values. I don't get up in the morning and go, oh yeah, difference, fun, I must do some fun today. I only notice my value set when in some way it's compromised. So when I'm in some way I'm with someone else or in a situation where it feels as though I'm struggling to make this thing happen or I'm not in flow, normally there's some kind of values compromise and then I think about it. So values, that's the first piece of the three. The second piece in there are our strengths. So that's actually, what are you good at? What do you do well? What's the gift and the talent and the gold dust that you bring to this planet? This is not the shit that you have to do, and it's not the things you go, I'm good enough at it. This is the stuff where you bring real strength, your real magic piece that you bring. What is it? And then the third piece in there is about passion. That's about doing the stuff you love doing, because they don't always marry up. Strengths and passions don't always marry up. I meet tons of people who are really good, really, really good at that thing, but they don't love it. They do it, they're known, it's comfortable, they make quite a lot of money out of it, but it's not their love. Their love is something else altogether different. So, for me, the piece comes about, we find that purpose piece when those three elements collide. Our values, what's most important to us, our strengths, the stuff that we're really, really good at, and our passions. And when you get those three and they overlap, you've got that bit in the middle that starts to unravel the purpose piece. When you bring all those elements and they go like this, then we start to find that sweet spot. That's the sweet spot, right? So my encouragement would be that as a starting point, I'm not going to give you a model that goes, if you do these three things, you're going to discover your purpose, because it's bullshit. It doesn't work like that. So my encouragement would be that you sit down, get a piece of paper, you get a chalkboard. I know it's going to say get some pens and just write on the wall, but that's not a good thing. Get a big piece of paper out, go three big blobs, rose, tulip petals or something. Maybe not tulips, I don't know enough about flowers. Three big petals that overlap with the middle piece. Values, strengths, and passions. Scribble them down. What's the stuff that's most important to you? What values are your go through the middle of the rock, your DNA piece? What are the strengths? What do you believe you're really good at doing? And passions, what's the stuff you love? And then just look at where the overlap is in the middle. Where do those three pieces come to, where they get to come together? Where you go, those three pieces are the sweet spot. Right in the middle. Because then we start to get to the place where we can begin to unravel perhaps what the purpose piece is. Of course, there's a bigger question about how would you start to bring that and embrace that more in your life rather than just going, oh, it's lovely, I'll leave it sat on that piece of paper. No, how would you bring it into your life? How would you need to be acting? What would you need to be doing each day that breathes life into it? That's the tough bit for people, right? There are people that do shed loads of work on this stuff and they do the work on themselves, but they don't turn it into anything. This is not just an intellectual exercise. Because the world has got some issues, right? There is some stuff for us all to go out there and fix and make better and add value to and be of service with. We've got a whole load of stuff to do. Boy, it's, the world's pretty screwed over. And within that, there's a ton of opportunity and a ton of good people doing good things. And we all have, I think, a responsibility and a duty to play out big and ensure that that purpose piece for us is realized and that we're acting in alignment with it. So the values, I think some of you know that I use Richard Barrett Value Center work in my corporate life, cultural transformation tools. It's just absolute bliss. If you don't know much about Richard Barrett, go and check him out. Wonderful writer about values, around consciousness. Just lush, really. It's a whole nother Facebook Live. They offer on the Barrett Values site a values questionnaire. It's a personal values assessment. It's free. It'll take you about 10 minutes. You go in, you choose some different words from a list. It's really easy. And then it sends you a really lovely report about your values and what that means, and some insight as to the values that you've picked. We'll pop the link in the comments. I would encourage you to go and do it. I think it starts to give you a great voice and framework for understanding what your own values are. The other two bits, there is do the work yourself on your strengths. Start to map them out. If you don't know, then go and find your stakeholders and go, what's the stuff that I do brilliantly? Not that I just do well, the stuff that I do brilliantly, where I bring a spin to it. Go and do that. And then the passion stuff. What's the stuff that turns you on? But I know that is just going to open the floodgates. So not the stuff that turns you on, the stuff that you love doing. Get it down on a piece of paper. For some people, I think this whole purpose piece is just really easy. Where some people, I think they just kind of, they find it really early on in their life. Malala, I'm pretty sure her purpose piece is going to stay. She's going to be driving for that one thing, that bringing quality and safe education to the 130 million girls on this planet that do not currently have access to it. That's going to be her piece. She's known that for a few years. For others, we have to work at it. We have to figure it out and make some sense of it. If you're in any doubt about going why, well then even if you just go back to let alone what this planet needs, is that the planet needs us all to show up big and play full out. But if you're in any other doubt, just go and check the benefits to our own life and system by living a life that is on purpose, just the real basic health benefits. Because when we start to live on purpose, we lose the misalignment that is so often core of being ill, that creates our illness, our disease, right? Dis-ease. We're out of alignment. So anyway, there's clearly no questions because you're all writing, working out your purpose, or asleep. If you are watching this on catch up and it's not a live video, post your questions and I will always answer you. I'll get back to you. If you're not in the BTFI group, why not? It's the place, it's the gang and tribe to hang out in. Get yourselves over, come and say hello, and it's an amazing place. It actually is an amazing place, I have to say, and I adore that group of people because they really do. I've never seen such an outpouring of love and support and challenge and community. And someone puts a hand up in the group and goes, I'm stuck with something, and it's like, it's just amazing. So for those of you in the group, thank you. For those of you that aren't, you're missing out. That's it from me. That's it from Elton, Gary. Post your questions. Let us know what you need. Let us know how we can help you figure this thing out. It's a big piece. It's a big piece of the puzzle. In fact, it probably is the puzzle. It's not even a piece of the puzzle. It is the puzzle. So there's a bit of be kind to yourselves, right? In working out what this might mean for you, and that you start to put some words around it. And then actually let it go. Right? The conversation we had with someone last week that was also figuring it out is do some work, capture some stuff, and also know when to just let it go and let it sit. If we're open and receptive and awake, then the answers will appear. So that's it. Great to see Louise has just joined. Louise, you come right at the end of the party. We're now switching off, but you can watch it on replay just as you go to sleep. So folks, thanks for tuning in. Have a super week, whatever you do. Take good care. Live on purpose, in alignment, and be deliberate. So thanks again. Lots of love. See you next week at 8 o'clock. Bye for now.